Hello cruel world, my name is Dr. Shahan Das. I'm a consultant forensic psychiatrist. I assess mentally disordered offenders for a living so that you don't have to. This video is kind of my psychoanalysis of Andrew Tate, plus a bit of a reaction video to a very popular video of his with some of his kind of most outrageous statements. I'm going to keep it 100 with you guys. I knew almost nothing about this man. I'd vaguely heard of his name, but knew nothing about his personality until this was sent to me as an idea. And I've done a bit of research. I certainly have some thoughts about him. So this video is going to be part reaction to his comments, part factual, part my own psychoanalysis. I think the fact that I didn't know him makes it more interesting because it's more like first impressions, spot diagnosis. And I have a background of assessing mentally disordered criminals. I'm not saying he's one of those, but maybe he's got some same beliefs. Let's take a look.
Little electric, my little plug. Ooh, let me get my little plug and plug it into my Tesla. Maybe I can get an erection one day. Is this the man you are?
Slap, slap, grab, choke, shut up, bitch, sex.
Eesh, I did not like that at all. The bit at the beginning with the car, maybe a bit of a misplaced joke. What he said about, shut up, bitch, not into that at all. I don't know if that was like taken out of context or if he was being a caricature, but if that's actually his attitude towards women, then this is not going to be a very pleasant video for me to watch. I'm going to hold judgment for now because I want to get a bit more of a feel of the man.
Most things the left try and present, you have to keep things realistic.
No. Years ago, natural selection and evolution would have taken care of all your fucking retard ancestors, but yet here you are, standing in my face saying you don't eat gluten. Yes, you fucking do.
Okay, so already I'm getting the sense of somebody who's clearly narcissistic, clearly opinionated, clearly egotistical, but he also seems to be a bit of a bully. He seems to be going out of his way to pick on vulnerable people, weak people, people that he sees as inferior. Why would somebody do this? Why does somebody feel the need to speak out against people they think that are lesser than them unless they have an inferiority complex? Anyway, let's continue.
Only a cat-owning bitch would complain to the police about a fucking joke. Fine, you're upset you lost your cat. Fair enough, yeah, the joke may have been a little bit, risque. Who calls the police on a fucking joke? Cat owners. Cat owners are liberals. Cat owners believe in hate speech. Cat owners are Democrats. Cat owners are dickheads.
Okay, so the very fact that he's calling out Democrats and liberals obviously shows his political inclination. Can't say I'm surprised, but I didn't know for a fact that he was Republican or right-leaning. Again, I don't want to say too much now. I want to know a bit more about the man, then I'll go into my thoughts.
Look like a bitch. No, I'm not like these fucking mask wearers. No, I walk into hell and the devil's like, oh, I'm gonna burn you. So you ain't gonna do shit.
I find myself super funny. I find myself super funny.
Imagine I'm in my fucking 6-liter V12 Aston Martin Vanquish. Gets about 10 miles to the gallon max. I'm sitting there. I'm chilling. There's a traffic jam. No big deal. Whatever. Big Daddy Tate, I can handle it. Someone goes, there's a climate change activist and they blocked the road. What? There's climate change activism, Extinction Rebellion. Yeah, I'll show you an extinction.
Okay, so I suppose one thing that's going through my mind is he a massive troll? Is this some kind of twisted joke? Another way of saying that is, does he believe the bullshit that he's spouting, or is he doing it for attention or to, to be, to gain more popularity and to drive people to his website? I really genuinely hope that that's the case, because if not, then I think we're stuck with quite a nasty character behind it all. Right, let's get a bit of background. So to tell you a little bit of that I know. So Amaury Andrew Tate was born on the 14th of December of 1986. That makes him 35 years old. He's a British-American kickboxer and an online personality. He actually had quite a successful kickboxing career. He won the International Sport Karate Association Full Contact Cruiser Championship, I think, several times. So he was a legit fighter, and that takes a lot of dedication and it takes a lot of motivation, and he's certainly not a lazy individual, let's put it that way. So moving on to some of his controversy, the reason that he's sort of breaking the internet or becoming so infamous is because he's said a lot of really dodgy things. So in 2017, he made some controversial tweets regarding sexual assault, including that, and I quote, "Women should take some personal responsibility if they put themselves in a position to be the R word," which I'm not going to say. and one admirer dubbed him as the king of toxic masculinity. So he's really got some very strong misogynistic views here, and I'm clinging on to the hope that some of this is supposed to be tongue-in-cheek. I'm not saying it's funny, it's not funny, but it's supposed to be a joke, but I really don't know. Let's watch a bit more.
You're a fat, ugly sack of shit.
Go to a poor country, no one's depressed. If they have food and their family members are alive, they're all laughing and dancing. Africans ain't even got roofs on their houses. Every time you fucking look at a documentary, they non-stop dancing around. I ain't dancing around like that ever. I'm never that happy. What the fuck are you happy about?
It does seem that he possibly might occasionally make good points. Like, I think that is a good point about being too materialistic and that affecting people's mental health. But if you say it in such a sort of nasty, attacking way, then you're not going to get your message across particularly effectively, and you're going to attract a certain kind of following or a certain kind of crowd. But I wonder if he's doing that on purpose. Okay, so I'm going to give you a bit of psychoanalysis. I think I've seen enough to get a hold of this guy. So I think I said before, narcissistic, egotistical. The thing that really comes through to me is he's hugely entitled. He thinks that his views, you know, he's not somebody that's there to compromise or to balance other people's views. And the other thing is I don't think, now having watched a bit more, I don't think he's joking behind what he's saying, but I still wonder how much, to what extent he believes what he's saying. Because he is an internet personality. He is gaining more attention. And my understanding is that he drives people to his website. He's got some sort of, you know, toxic manliness success website and has actually made quite a lot of money from that. So if he stands out as a personality by being controversial, then he's going to get more people go to his website. So he's ultimately going to make a living out of it. So what I still haven't figured out is this all intentional controversy, or is this just a man who has the most twisted ideas and has absolutely no empathy and no barriers to expressing them? Let's continue with the video.
I mean, if you're a really good friend, no, not even if you're a friend, you better, if you're my friend, you just can't be a pussy. Well, I had a heart attack. Get the fuck up.
And the most annoying thing about this fat cunt is that when he's DJ, he MCs. And when he MCs, all he says over and over again is, "Oh my God!"
I have no idea what he's talking about. I'm assuming DJ Khaled, but you guys probably know more than me. Let me know in the questions below.
Gay. Bodybuilding is a beauty pageant where dudes try their best to put on muscle so other dudes can say, "You're the best looking dude." It's gay. It's super gay. I said, tell him it's gay all the time. It's not gay, it's hard work, dedication, blah, blah, blah.
So another theme that's really shining through to me is toxic masculinity. So he's already kind of mocked anybody that's having a heart attack. That's a very strange thing to mock. That makes me think that he doesn't fully invest in all of his ideas, because it's just such a ridiculous thing to say. You know, he's calling bodybuilding gay. Even the fact that he's kind of bringing homophobia into it stinks of toxic masculinity. I'll talk a bit about what that is later on in this video. Let's continue.
Some of history's greatest and most influential men have been cigar smokers. Sir Winston Churchill, Jack Nicholson, and of course, Hannibal Smith from the A-Team.
So, I'm not saying the dude's a funny comedian, but he's certainly got a sense of humour, which confuses the whole picture for me, because again, I find it hard to separate what he is trying to say for comedic effect versus really toxic, misogynistic viewpoints. Let's continue.
Long, cold, lonely night. She's saying, I don't care if you're a rocket scientist. I don't care if you're a businessman. I don't care how successful you are. I don't care about nothing. I need dick. Because if I'm kept warm, dicked right, on a long, cold, lonely night, any night. Basically, I'm a hoe. I need dick. That's all I'm interested in.
Planet is this? They're on the radio back and forth, back and forth. And I heard the little one, the little hijabi one, say, oh, maybe we need a male officer. Basically saying, we can't arrest this dude. So these two little women who can't arrest me, but threatening to. Can't chase anyone, but telling me I have to fucking sit still. So I said, okay, I agree. This is my public declaration. I got my phone out and start recording. I wish I still had this fucking video. This is my declaration. I agree. I will not chase the car. I'm saying now I'm free to go. I'm not a criminal. I'm free to go. I will not chase the car. And they were like, they knew I was lying. They were like, he's going to go chase the car.
Are we gamblers?
Where's your mask?
What do you mask?
Mask.
What do you mean mask?
No, it just tastes really good. Like it's mint.
Let me tell you a secret, Luke.
It tastes like mint.
I'll kick the motherfucking fuck out of you.
Drew, I know you said money isn't real, but I am getting fucked.
what pisses me off most, you thick fucks. Beer break.
The garden.
Exactly.
And that was the only time
That was the
today
only
that
time.
people have been talking behind each other's backs. This guy's a liar.
That was the only time.
Listen, bro, don't talk to me right now,
Let me
okay?
just say
I'm
5
heated.
words and I'll walk off if you want, yeah?
Why would you come in here and start like that, though? Why wouldn't you introduce yourself and then tell us tomorrow or something? Be respectful, because you come into here. You came into here and we called 8 of us snakes.
Yeah, of course.
You didn't even tell us your name. All you did was go, 8 of you are snakes.
Okay, so I was going to mention this in terms of some of the stuff that's controversial about him. So part of the beginning of his rise of notoriety is in 2016, Tate gained this infamy because he was removed from the 17th season of Big Brother because apparently he appeared to beat a woman. And also he had these tweets about sexual harassment and what his views of sexual assault were. As I said before, women should share responsibility. According to him, 3 different Twitter accounts were suspended. On another one of his YouTube videos, Tate said that 40% of the reason that he moved back to Romania was because police were less likely to pursue sexual assault allegations. That is a terrible, terrible look. And another huge thing, which I have to say confuses me. So in April 2022, Romanian police raided his home due to a human traffic investigation. And a Romanian newspaper reported that this happened because there were reports that an American woman was being held captive at Tate's house. And apparently police found both an American woman and a Romanian woman in the building. But then Tate later said, no girls were found in my house and nobody was arrested. But then there's footage of him being arrested. And then later that same month, a spokesperson for the Romanian police agency added that nobody has been charged or arrested, but the investigation's ongoing. So again, like as I've been honest with you right from the beginning, I don't know that much about this man, so maybe you viewers can shed some light. But it doesn't make sense to me because that's a really serious charge, right? You know, if you're keeping somebody against their will, that's basically taking a hostage. Could be some elements of sexual abuse there. That is serious, you know, that you get arrested, you get remanded, you get sent to prison during trial, during the investigation for that. So how could there be no charges? So to me, it makes it seem like it's a misunderstanding. Or is he a human trafficker? I don't know what's going on here. If I was doing a criminal assessment, so if I was writing a court report, I'd be very worried about his personality traits, which I'll summarize later. But I'd also want to get all of the information. I'd want the case papers, any CCTV footage. I'd want witness statements, including of the victim, the police officers that rescued him. So, yeah, I'm confused about what's going on. Please, somebody shed some light. Let's get back to the video.
Just stood up really quick. And as I stood up, he shat himself and dropped his pen. I stood up and he went and dropped his pen. These are your masters. You mess with me, you're gonna learn something. Hey, yeah. Ain't ready for the big man slap. I got a big hand. I'll bust their jaw with the bottom of my hand, and the top of their head will feel the sting from the fingers, like the whole boom.
Is A, things I'm happy to show, and B,
He doesn't do anything illegal, it's fine. Film anything, Dave. He told me it's fine. He told me it's okay. He said it's alright. So just follow us around. Get the camera out when you want.
I want to see every edit before it goes out.
Ooh, don't know if that's going to be.
Alright, if you agree that you can't make changes.
No, I want to see every edit before it goes out. I want to make it don't be taking the piss and just trying to make me look like a cunt. Because that's the last
Too easily done.
Is it cold in Romania?
Yes, Dave. It's cold in Romania.
Okay, so to me, this is actually probably one of the most interesting parts of the footage that I've seen so far. So on the surface, he's like, I'm just going to speak my mind. I'm going to say whatever. I've got these crazy, wild views. And, you know, if anybody has any different thoughts, then forget them. And, you know, really narcissistic, really, really opinionated, really entitled. But that footage, I think, was very telling. So I don't think he was joking then. I think he's insisting that he sees all the footage because he wants, I'm not going to use the same language that he used, but he wants to be portrayed in a certain way, right? So the reason that's interesting to me as a psychiatrist is this is all quite calculated, I think. And if he comes across so badly with everything we said, the racism, the misogyny, the toxic masculinity, he must want to come across in that kind of way, right? Because presumably all the other content he's put out, including on his own videos, if he cares that much, he would have gone through them with a fine-tooth comb, would have edited them. So what I'm saying, I'm not saying that he's lying necessarily, but I'm saying there could be some exaggeration, there could be an intentional element of controversy just for clout and just for attention. So I think that's interesting. Let's continue.
Where they put that cling film around it.
Why? It's to prevent people from putting stuff in your suitcases or taking stuff out of your suitcases.
But who's going to put shit in your suitcase after you check it in?
It's people that work at the airport, they smuggle drugs by putting it in people's suitcases, and then a person at the other side will take out the suitcase.
I'm sorry, James. I do not believe that shit for a second. Never.
Freedom. They suck non-stop. Hi. Nice to meet you.
Fuck Australia. And secondly,
That's not nice.
Secondly, Chuck, who believes should be allowed to have weapons?
The army and the maybe police.
The army and the police.
The ones who aren't racist.
Okay. I want you to listen to a song and every 11 to 12 seconds say, "Oh my God," over it. And after an hour, I guarantee you feel like murdering somebody. The French are weird. One dude, he must have been about 50, got naked, then go on the dance floor and just like start to dance. Just like, why? 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 Why would you do that? Why would you get completely naked? If you want to dance, just why would you get completely naked and just go do your shit dancing?
So, he's just insulted Australia, insulted France. This is a man who really doesn't care about... I wouldn't say he doesn't care what people think about him, because I think he absolutely does, because as I said, he's cultivating this image, he's intentionally hitting points. But he doesn't... He cares about trying to get other people riled up and possibly followers and subscribers of people that have the same kind of thinking about that. But outside of that, he doesn't care who he offends. And that is, I don't think brave's certainly not the right word, but it just shows an absolute lack of empathy. It shows that he really doesn't want to consider the consequences of his actions. So yeah, those are other kind of histrionic personality issues that stand out to me. Okay, we're almost finished, then I'll summarize my psychoanalysis.
They don't eat gluten. I need you to do something for me, and we have to make sure that no one ever says it again. So what happens is you're standing there, and they say, "Oh, I don't actually eat gluten." Get in the cage, and I'll show you what toxic is. Your wife could watch from somewhere at the back. This is Romania. We got beautiful women around. There's going to be like hot chicks around. She has to be in a burqa or something.
Right, okay, so I think I've got a pretty good handle on what Andrew Tate is all about. I think he's a nasty piece of work. I'm not going to repeat the adjectives, but misogynistic, intentionally provocative. Does he believe everything he's saying? I don't think he does fully. I think he is partially trolling, but there's definitely an underlying sense of just a horrible sort of bully of a man, sexist, partially racist, picking on the vulnerable, clearly an alpha male. I don't think I could sum it up better than saying toxic masculinity. So you probably have heard that term. So that is like hyper manliness, and it perpetuates being an alpha male, completely dominating everybody else, being homophobic, being sexist, and just aggression, just being like, I am the biggest and the strongest and the most powerful in the room. And it's called also toxic masculinity reflects on the idea that men need to act tough and avoid showing all emotions, which can actually be quite damaging to their health, but that's another topic. Do I think, here's probably one of the most interesting parts of my psychoanalysis, all right? I've already said that I think some of this is put on so that he can gain more followers and gain more money. Do I think he's dangerous? Well, let's split that into two parts. Is Andrew Tate himself a dangerous person in terms of the people he interacts with? It's really hard to answer because I don't understand what happened on that incident. But then again, he's making some very, very dangerous comments. So I think he's partially quite dangerous himself. He's obviously trained in kickboxing. So, he's exactly the kind of man that wouldn't surprise me if he committed domestic violence at some point. From what I can tell, he got kicked out of Big Brother for being violent towards a woman. But probably on a more societal level, I think he's actually dangerous in terms of his words and his actions of being so right-wing. So to me, when I was watching this, it reminded me of the incel movement. I'm not saying Andrew Tate himself identifies as incel, but as you'll probably know, it's involuntary celibate. It's a group of men who feel entitled to sex and have some very damaging opinions on women, believing that women themselves are unobtainable and that the men are entitled to basically have sex with them and it's the women's fault. So the reason I mention the incel movement is that it festers amongst people, amongst young, vulnerable men themselves who are quite impressionable And if someone like Andrew Tate becomes popular amongst them, then this hate can spread. And the problem is, you might find somebody who's particularly isolated, particularly marginalised, particularly aggrieved by society, and they can take on his beliefs and do something really horrible like domestic violence or a spree killing. So I think the very fact that he's popular and that he's trending on the internet is worrying to me on a societal level. Those are my final thoughts. Let me know what you think in the Schmoment section below. Do you know some other stuff about him that I've not considered? Do you think I'm being completely harsh and unfair and this is all a joke? Do you think he fully believes everything he's saying? Do you think that he is a very dangerous individual or not? If you like this kind of material, you should go check out the other videos on my channel. I've done a reaction video to a viral episode on YouTube of a man who had catatonic schizophrenia. I'll put the links in the description below. If you like hearing about real life cases, I've done a psychoanalysis of R. Kelly recently, of Jimmy Savile and Boris Johnson. Okay, that's enough from me. Peace, enjoy the rest of your day, and whatever happens, remember, I love you.